Rubio meets Jordan's Prime Minister to discuss Gaza. Lebanon and Qatar leaders meet in Doha to boost cooperation. And Hamas denounces the Israeli torture of Palestinians. You're watching Qnews and this is our news bulletin. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Jordanian Prime Minister and Minister of Defense Jafar Hassan to explore ways to boost economic cooperation and investment between the two countries. The talks also covered the situation in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. Secretary Rubio thanked Jordan for its ongoing partnership in advancing regional security, while Prime Minister Hassan expressed appreciation for Washington's support of Jordan's stability and economic development plans.
Mr. Secretary, our nuclear talks, is the expectation for Iran to have zero uranium enrichment? Is NATO...
Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has condemned recent terrorist plots targeting Jordan's security and stability. In a phone conversation with his Jordanian counterpart, Ayman Safari, Abdulati voiced Egypt's full support for Jordan's efforts to counter the threats, reaffirming Cairo's solidarity in the fight against terrorism and extremism. The two ministers also discussed the ongoing ceasefire efforts in Gaza, growing tensions in the West Bank, and the need to coordinate future steps with international partners. Saudi Arabia has voiced strong support for Jordan's recent security measures to prevent attempts aimed at destabilizing the country and sparking unrest. In a statement from its Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the kingdom praised the Jordanian authorities for their swift action and reaffirmed its solidarity with Jordan in confronting any threats to its security and stability. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has affirmed his solidarity with Jordan, its king, government and people in confronting terrorist plots aimed at undermining Jordan's national security and inciting chaos. During a phone call with Jordanian King Abdullah II, Abbas stated that those who seek to target and weaken Jordan are also aiming to undermine Palestine and destabilize the entire region. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has stated that he is fully prepared to coordinate and collaborate with Lebanon to maintain regional security. During a phone call with the Jordanian King Abdullah II, Aoun discussed the findings of investigations into a rocket manufacturing cell uncovered in Jordan. Aoun directed Justice Minister Adel Nasser to coordinate with his Jordanian counterpart regarding the investigations and information exchange with security and judicial authorities. They emphasized the importance of sustaining coordination to counter attempts to destabilize the region and uphold security. The call also addressed the stronger fraternal ties between the two countries and peoples, along with significant regional developments. Iraq has strongly condemned attempts to destabilize the security of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. In a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Iraq expressed full solidarity with Jordan, denouncing efforts that threaten societal peace and violate national sovereignty and international law. The ministry reaffirmed Iraq's unwavering support for Jordan, emphasizing its stability as crucial for regional balance and prosperity. Iraq committed to strengthening ties with Jordan and urged the international community to act against any threats to stability. And for more insight on Jordan, we now move to Salma Al-Fay in our newsroom. Salma.
Thank you, Hani. And for further analysis, we're joined from Assault by the member of the Jordanian House of Representatives and the former Minister of State for Legal Affairs, Dr. Mahmoud El-Kharabsha. Welcome, sir, to Qnews. And let me ask you first, attempts to jeopardize Jordan's security and stability have attracted wide-ranging international condemnation. Do you think this is a show of solidarity reflecting a desire to preserve the Jordanian stability, do you think?
Thanks for having me. Yes, in fact, so the heroic operation made by the intelligence department through which spoiled plots that aims the destabilization and disseminate chaos within the kingdom. In fact, the public intelligence department was following and this cell since 2021 and managed to arrest 16 members affiliated to such organization. This organization has plans followed by the intelligence department. Such schemes and intentions represented in manufacturing missiles of domestic materials, of short-range missiles that range from 3 to 5 kilometers, which means such manufacturing aims to do operation within Jordan and sabotaging the kingdom. In addition, such an organization concealed explosives and made a missile that was ready to be deployed. And also the attempt of manufacturing drones. In addition, this organization was recruiting several numbers of elements to be recruited abroad and receive training. And the intelligence department, following the arrest of such an organization, was referred to the state security code in order to have them accounted within the legal procedures and based in the charges. In fact, we are very proud that the intelligence department is a very professional department and has a great capability in dealing such organizations and managed throughout 4 years to pursue its course and path and expose its goals along with its warehouses and objectives. And in fact, Jordan, following the referral of the special court, we've already received and supported stances by the Arab countries through Lebanon that contacted His Royal Highness the King of the Jordan and announced its solidarity along with the Palestinian President. In addition, that the brotherly Arab countries such as UAE, Bahrain, Saudi, Qatar, Kuwait, and of course our brotherly Egypt, along with the Arab Parliament, and announced the denunciation of such a plot and affirmed the professionalism of the intelligence Jordan and supporting Jordan in the course of confronting these organizations that targeted the stability of the Jordan as the Arab security is integrated, and if happened in an Arab countries, then I think it would affect the other brotherly Arab countries, and therefore we are very proud of our apparatus, particularly in such a delicate circumstance that recall more unification to support the Kingdom of Jordan and all other Arab countries in the
Dr.
past.
Mahmoud, can we consider the recent security developments in Jordan a byproduct of the state of instability Israel has caused in the region with its sustained acts of aggression on multiple fronts? Sir, can you hear me? Can we consider the recent security developments in Jordan a byproduct of the state of instability Israel has caused in the region with its sustained acts of aggression, maybe on multiple fronts, do you think?
We actually do not prelude that any opponent entity that hostile to Jordan to mess around with the stability of Jordan, particularly that Jordan has an implicit stance with regard to the Palestinian cause that goes in line with the Egyptian stances and in several cases in all Arab stances that support the Palestinian right and reaffirming the ceasefire and lifting the blockade of Gaza and Palestine and categorically rejecting the displacement of the Palestinian people and also deportation and forcibly displaced them and evacuated the Palestinian territories, particularly Gaza, and to be controlled by Israel. Actually, it is accepted, it might be expected, but the long past of Jordan, there were some adversary entities that tried to sabotage and destabilize Jordan and targeting the or by the assistance of the army, the Jordanian army, and the Jordanian people have managed to thwarten this plot and to hold the perpetrators accountable. And we say to any entity that has a sense of Arabism and good intention, do not mess around of the security and stability of Jordan in light of such circumstances that we are in dire need to be lined up, united, and in supporting our brothers in Palestine and Gaza and reaffirming the right of the Palestinian people to get its independence, the establishment of its independent state on the lines of 1967 and the Eastern Jerusalem as its capital, no matter the entity as part of the investigations will get through in the designated court in trialing the terrorist organization through such a proceeding of just trials and the proceedings, and all matters will be clarified, its goals, its intentions since the beginning until now.
Sir, as a Jordanian parliamentarian and a former minister, how can you assess the overall security situation in Jordan? And in your view, what future measures do you expect your government to combat all forms of terrorism and subversive activities?
Security, praise to Almighty God, is stable. We are fully resilient and prepared to maintain our security. And you know, we've had borders with 30 long, more than 300 kilometers, along with the eastern border, more than 181 kilometers, along with the Palestinian borders that range 60 kilometers. Jordan have managed throughout the past to maintain its stability and foiled any terrorist groups either from terrorist groups or organizations that try to smuggle explosive arms, drugs, as well as kidnapping bills. Therefore, the security is prevailed. In Jordan, we have security apparatus that are very professional and capable to pursue any organization or entity that try to sabotage Jordan and destabilize the country. Along with the Jordanian people is fully prepared and vested based on the awareness to confront any attempts that pursue the security and stability of Jordan. So thank God that everything is going fine as measures you've already asked. There are continued measures that are developed and a close pursuit by the security apparatus and as well as the army to those who might infringe the stability of Jordan. So we are in fully trust to our apparatus and the intelligence department that pursued and monitored this operation since 2021 till 2025. Throughout the 4 years, has managed to collect information along with to expose its intention that affirms that such an apparatus is fully vested and have full expertise to spoil any attempt of such to fail any entity to try to destabilize Jordan. In addition, that the army of the Kingdom of Jordan are very professional, is capable to fulfill its message in maintaining the stability domestically and abroad. As I pointed out, we are in Jordan are united. We've all agreed on the unity of Jordan security and stability. We are one people of all in the camps, in the villages, in all cities, in maintaining the security of Jordan as a pivotal entrance, along with good ties with our brotherly Arab leaders. As I said, that the Jordanian security goes in line with the whole region, no matter what, as affected. So Jordan is exchanging information, has a good ties with our brotherly Arab. Thanks to Almighty God, our staple is prevailed, and the security apparatus, with the collaboration with the army, are very professional, based on awareness that would enable them to deal with all potential threats and to pursue all terrorist groups, domestically or internationally.
Thank you, sir. From Salta, that was the member of Jordanian House of Representatives and the former Minister of State for Legal Affairs, Dr. Mahmoud El Kharabsha. Thank you, sir, for joining us today at Q News. And now we go back to Hani Saif in our studio.
Thank you, Salma. In Doha, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun and Qatari Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani met to bolster cooperation between the two nations. During the meeting, President Aoun expressed appreciation for Qatar's ongoing support, particularly in energy and military aid. The Emir underscored Qatar's commitment to Lebanon's stability and unity, backing efforts to ensure that all weapons remain under state control, as outlined in Aoun's presidential agenda. Both leaders reaffirmed their dedication to civil peace and pledged to work together in addressing regional challenges. And now we move on to the latest updates in Gaza. Hamas has denounced the most heinous types of psychological and physical torture that Palestinians have been exposed to in Israeli jails. Hamas stated that the liberation of those detained will remain a top priority in a ceasefire agreement, recognizing their sacrifices and their steadfastness. It also declared that it holds Israel fully responsible for the lives of Palestinians kidnapped from Gaza since the war began in October 2023, as well as all Palestinians held by Israel. Hamas further called on human rights and humanitarian organizations to expose the Israeli occupation's crimes against Palestinian detainees throughout the West Bank and Jerusalem, as well as those abducted from the Gaza Strip. It urged these organizations to work towards prosecuting the perpetrators in international courts and to take effective action to pressure for the immediate release of all detainees. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has said Israel will not allow any humanitarian aid to enter Gaza. In a statement, Katz added that no preparations are being made to bring supplies into the Strip. He said the blockade was a way of putting pressure on Hamas. Israel has blocked food, medicine, and other critical supplies from entering the Strip for more than 6 weeks. Aid agencies say there are concerns of a full-blown famine taking hold. The United Nations has said Israel has briefed the agency and humanitarian aid supplies on a new authorization mechanism that would introduce greater control over aid delivery in Gaza by Israeli forces. The UN stated that aid organizations already have mechanisms to ensure that aid is not diverted and that they are ready to deliver assistance to those most in need based on humanitarian principles. The UN stated that aid delivery into Gaza has been obstructed for far too long. It warned that granting further control over aid operations to a party involved in the conflict could jeopardize the delivery of assistance to the most vulnerable, especially at a time when it is most urgently needed. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees has raised alarm over critical medicine shortages in Gaza, warning that lives are at risk. The agency said the lack of essential supplies and painkillers poses a grave threat to patients. UNRWA highlighted the case of 2-year-old Loretta, who suffered burns after scalding liquid spilled on her during recent shelling, underscoring the urgent need for medical aid. The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has strongly condemned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's recent incursion into northern Gaza, describing it as a move to deepen displacement and expand military operations. According to the ministry, the action appears aimed at evading ceasefire obligations and undermining the authority of the International Court of Justice. It also highlighted ongoing Israeli policies that continue to fuel hunger and deprivation, including the closure of crossings and the escalation of violence, measures that, it says, threaten the viability of a future Palestinian state. These are all the news we have for now, but here's a reminder of today's main stories. Rubio meets Jordan's Prime Minister to discuss Gaza. Lebanon and Qatar leaders meet in Doha to boost cooperation. And Hamas denounces the Israeli torture of Palestinians. This concludes our news bulletin for now, but please don't forget to follow Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram and TikTok at Q News EGY to stay informed. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.